Michael went on to befriend many other railway enthusiasts, including one who travelled on the Tralee and Dingle Railway in passenger days. Michael recounts the tale.
Well, the other fellow that a friend of mine who knew the line was Gerald Aston. He lived in Cheshire, and I visited him several times. And in fact, when Camwell used to come, he lived in Birmingham, Camwell, he came every year to the Stevenson Locomotive Society meetings in Manchester. And the one, it was Camwell's cine films of the previous year. And so in 1952, I went to the meeting in Manchester and saw this film that he made when I was with him. And then over the years, going to those meetings, I met this chap, Gerald Aston, who was a fascinating character because he's a lot older than me, you see. He was the same age. Camwell was born in 1906, and Aston was born in 1907. So they'd done a lot of travel pre-war. So Aston worked for the LMS Railway at Derby, and they got special notices, and he suddenly saw this notice about ticket arrangements. Tickets will not be honoured after this date in April 1939. Great Southern Railways, Tralee and Dingle section closed after this date, and he hadn't been. He managed to get away on a Friday, on a Thursday night, I suppose, because he must have gone over on a Friday on the 3:25, whatever time left then AM boat from the LMS boat, because he would have a free pass, you see, and he was doing quite well on the LMS, so he may have had a first class pass. So he managed to get himself to Kingsbridge Station in Dublin on that Friday morning before it closed. The T&D closed on the Saturday night, and got himself to Tralee, but he'd missed. There was no train until there were 2 trains a day, I think, passenger trains, and so there was nothing till about 5 o'clock. But I said to him, "You didn't do the Castle Gregor." "Oh no," he said. It wasn't possible. And I was looking at the timetable. I said, "Look, what you could have done, if you'd hired a hackney in Tralee to get to Castle Gregory, you could have come out from Castle Gregory to the junction and got on the train that you actually were on," which was the second of the evening train, which stayed the night in Dingle. And he said, "Well, probably, I don't know if I realised that, but I probably wasn't financially able to afford a hackney from Tralee to Castle Gregory, but he could have done the branch if he'd done that, you see." So he stayed overnight in Dingle, and then came back on the last day on the morning train, and he got to Annis Cole, and the station master said, "Sir," he said, "you must have the working timetable and this appendix." He said, I have no job tomorrow." And he was in tears. The station master at Annis Cole was in tears. And he gave him these documents and said, "It's all finished tomorrow." So that was Aston's memories of the Tralee and Dingle on its last days of passenger working.